Welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and boy do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now Michael Campion, and he played Jackson Fuller on Fuller House. Hey Michael, how are you doing?
Hey man, good to talk to you.
I'm so glad that we could set this up. Your publicist is so amazing. He set me up with like 4 or 5 interviews. I believe you're like the 5th interview he set me up with, and he is a really chill dude. Like, he's really a cool guy.
Yeah, Turk is awesome. I love him.
Absolutely. So first question I got for you is, how did you get your start into acting?
Yeah, how'd I get my start? Man, I've been doing this for a long time. I was about 5 years old when I officially started, but through a bit of like a weird coincidence, I was taking these pictures, the Christmas card pictures from my mom. Like, it was the whole family, and the photographer lady, who's my mom's best friend, was like, wow, your son is very photogenic. Do you mind if I send a sample to one of my friends? And then that friend turned out to be like the head of this like crazy modeling agency, like this head like in Miami. It's called Wilhelmina. And then I signed as to be like a model, and like, hey, he should get stuff on his resume. I mean, I'm 5 years old at this point. So they're like, maybe he should try theater. So I went into theater, and the rest is history. I mean, I just loved it. I did like community theater and plays for like my church at the time. And yeah, that's like where it initially started. But even before then, I mean, I was super extroverted. I mean, I love talking to people and interacting with people. So it really wasn't like a big leap forward. It was really just like channeling that energy into something, cool.
Right.
So,
and it's funny because some actors, some of them are introverted, and you're like, how do they do this when they're introverted? Because like,
sure,
really is you have to be outspoken really to you really enjoy this. And I mean, there are a lot of people that you wouldn't believe that they are introverted, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's a whole other angle to acting. I feel like sometimes they use that as a way to come alive. Like that's, I don't know. I think about people like Johnny Depp, who are, super introverted, and
Right.
and like the characters that he's able to create are just crazy.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
what was your biggest challenge being a child star?
The biggest challenge, that's a good question. My biggest challenge probably was trying to balance like school and a social life and my work, because school's already a full-time job. So right. I had to transfer out of my normal school that I was in before, because I live in Florida. I'm in Orlando. So I was going to a school here. And then when I booked the job, I was out there. So I was trying to get my work from there to the place. Like, this is not working out. So I transferred to online school. I didn't like that very much. And then I found there was another school that caters like to child actors. Like, they have a lot of child actors in the program. And so that was really great. But I think that the dynamics of trying to be social, like, while you also have like this basically 2 full-time jobs was pretty challenging, but honestly very rewarding. I feel like I learned a lot, discipline, and I had to really push myself to get stuff done. So it was good. Yeah.
Absolutely, especially being like a child star. It's not that you're just in the limelight, but it's like you've got a job, so you got to grow up, grow up fast. You know what I mean? Like, it really is a big responsibility. It really is.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, that's what I tell everyone. I mean, I was 12 and I had to learn how to be professional and all that. So it was really really great life skills, I feel like.
Absolutely. So what was your audition like for Fuller House?
This is a fun story. This might take a minute here, but what happened was I was in Florida, just a normal audition came through. It's like Untitled, sorry about that. It was like Untitled Sitcom 4 or whatever. I was like, okay. And so I go through it, and then I get a call back, which was pretty big deal. I got a call back, that's like the next step. Still didn't know what it was. They still didn't tell me the name. By the 3rd time, they said, oh, this is Fuller House, like the sequel to Full House. And I loved Full House. I mean, like, I watched it on Nick at Night, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And so I mind you, I'm doing this all from Florida, from a self tape. Like, I'm not actually in the room doing stuff at this point right now. But like, something happened where I actually didn't end up getting the role at first. They gave it to another kid. And then he was filming he was doing the first week for like 3 days, and they said, oh, like we don't really like the chemistry, we need to recast. And so I'm at the self-tape place for a completely separate audition, and my mom gets this email and she's like, oh my gosh, this just happened, like we need to put this on tape right now, like they want you to go right this second, like, oh my gosh. So we go to Walmart, we change my clothes, we come back, we do the audition, and like an hour later they're like, okay, we want you to fly out here for your final audition. So I get on a plane at like 6 a.m. the next morning, and we get picked up by this limousine, and next thing I know, I'm getting carted off to Warner Brothers Studios. I'd never been there before, and it was like really, really early. So me and my mom are sitting in the equivalent of like a janitor's closet in the casting office, because the security guard let us in because he felt bad because we'd have to be sitting outside because it wasn't actually open. So I sat there for a couple hours going over my stuff. I go in the room, I do my audition, and there was like one other kid there too, and they were like, hey, you got the job, like right on the spot. So then like they cut my hair. The next day I was filming, like literally just like that. My entire life just got turned around in like less than 24 hours. It was really crazy.
That is awesome. It really is. It's funny because every time, like when the new season of Fuller House came out, I would always go over to my Aunt Candy's house because she is a big Full House fan as I am. And we, right from, season 1 and then of course season 2 and all the other seasons, we would end up, I would end up going to her house. She would make her famous homemade macaroni and cheese with tomatoes. And we would have that, iced tea, and binge like all the episodes. And I wouldn't get home. Now I live in Maryland. At the time I was living in Pennsylvania with my parents. And I end up going home, and like I'll probably get home by like 3-4 in the morning at least or so.
Wow, that's a really cool memory. Like something like that lasts with you forever,
It really does, and it's so much fun. Like we really have a good time. Like it was just, we laughed at so many scenes, and like some of the scenes, like I mean, even the scene when you're doing the science project and you're doing the volcano, like just your line I can't remember the line off the top of my head. It's like, my volcano erupted.
Yeah, I was up all night erupting my volcano.
Yeah,
it's so stupid.
It was so funny because like you could take that in so many different ways, and it was just the way it was delivered was so funny.
The writers are good.
Stephanie and Jodie Sweet and Stephanie's face. Oh my god, like she like it was great.
Yeah, there's a lot of good moments in the show.
Awesome. Sure. Yeah. So what was it like working with Candace Cameron, Bray?
Yeah, man, she's great. I mean, she's like a mom to me. You spent 5 years, with these people that are pretty much mentoring you the whole time. I mean, honestly, it's not just Candace, but it's everyone else too. I mean, like the 3 main girls. I feel like they all are my family, and she really feels like my mom, and they really feel like my aunts and uncles and stuff. I mean, it's so like, it's strange because a lot. And I'm talking generally here because Candace is, I love her. I love her to death, and she's great. But I think as a whole, like everyone as a family, it's crazy because I have never been on a show or ever seen a cast that has like this much chemistry, because, they had 30 years of chemistry. Absolutely. And now we're coming in, and man, it just like, it's such a healthy set, and everyone loves each other and everyone respects each other, and there's like no drama. And I really do miss it. I mean, I really do, because, next time I get on another project, I'm sure it won't have that, that same magic that it had on Fuller House.
Yeah. Now, do you still talk to Candace or any of the other cast members?
Yeah. No, I still talk to them. I mean, we have a group chat where we'll like send stuff like for holidays or birthdays and stuff. Awesome. But it really sucked because right after Fuller House ended, COVID hit. So pretty much all of 2020, we didn't get a chance to like see each other or reconvene. So once things start opening up, for real, I definitely want to plan to get together.
Absolutely. That would be so much fun too.
Yeah.
Reminiscing and actually seeing each other again. Like, I know, like I'm dying to go out. I'm dying to go back out. Like, I really am. Like, I get my second COVID shot tomorrow morning. I work for the U.S. Coast Guard, so I get it at the Coast Guard yard. So I get that at 7:30 in the morning, and then hopefully I'll be able to, actually be able to go out. Of course, I'll still be wearing my mask and everything, because I told everybody, like, I don't care about myself. I care about people like my dad and people that have other people that are more prone to dying from this illness. I'm young, I'm healthy. I know I'm going to be able to survive this. At least I'll be able to fight it more than somebody that has an illness, or somebody that's older, you know what I mean? So really, like, COVID has really taken a backturn, especially on the acting industry. It has really took its toll.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Hollywood got shut down the most because it's such an intimate, environment. So yeah, hey, that's great for you, man.
Thank you. So, what was your favorite episode that you filmed for Fuller House and why?
My favorite episode. Okay, I have two answers to this. My favorite all-time just filming experience was going to Japan. That was really, really cool. I mean, getting a culture shock and just such a beautiful place and meeting all kinds of cool people was awesome. I mean, that was one experiences that'll carry forever. But I'm thinking about my personal favorite. Man, I have a few, but I think one that I really like that just set apart. It was this one episode where I really, really wanted to. I told the writer specifically to make this episode. I was like, guys, I really want an episode where I bond with Matt and Steve. Please, please, please. And so they're like, all right. So I had this whole episode where Steve was teaching me how to drive, and then Matt came around, and we had a whole thing. We ended up grilling steaks on the engine. I was like, yeah, this is great. So I was really happy for Jackson. That was my favorite one.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Now when you went to Japan, are you a Nintendo fan at all, or?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with Nintendo.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So did you see anything of the Nintendo exhibits or anything that were there?
Nintendo exhibits. I don't remember going specifically to a Nintendo exhibit, but I feel everywhere I went, there was some type of video game culture. I remember going, I do remember going to a Pokemon store though. That was raw. That was really, it was a whole store. It looked like something straight out of Japan. This is stereotypical, but yeah. It was really cool though.
That's awesome. Yeah, I still have the same Nintendo 64 that I had when I first got it in 1996, with the same game that I got in 1998, Banjo-Kazooie, and 2000 Banjo-Tooie, and I still play it, and it still works to this day. It's in my bedroom.
Man, you guys had all the good games. I feel nowadays, when I was born in 2002, so I grew up when things were a little bit more advanced. I like Xbox, like the 360, and now I'm playing, whatever. But man, those older games, they just hit you right in the stomach. Yeah, I get you.
Absolutely. I was born in '89, so at the very end of the '80s, December '89, and
sure.
Absolutely, I loved even the Nickelodeon shows were so much better. Full House was really it wasn't near over, halfway through or whatever. It just started in '88 or '89, I believe, around that time. So I mean, I grew up watching Full House with my parents. I literally, that would be our Friday nights when I was 4 or 5 years old. I'd be watching Full House. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You mentioned that you did watch Full House when you were younger. I mean, before you started everything. So what was your favorite moment of that show that resonated with you?
Full House. That's a good question. I don't think anyone's actually ever asked me that before. My favorite moment of Full House. I think there's this one episode that stands out in my mind. It was I think Jesse was having this nightmare scenario where he married Kimmy Gibbler or something like that. Yes. And then he was fat and balding and begging. I remember that. That was a pretty funny episode. Yeah. I don't know. I thought that was a good one.
I know one thing that I loved, one line that I loved was Candace Cameron line, and oh my god, her delivery on it was so hilarious. Where it was Danny and Joey were in jail for they were dressed like women or something like that, and they called the house and they get DJ, and Danny's like, DJ, I'm sorry, listen to me carefully, I'm in jail. And she's like, you're where? And then Kimmy Gibbler's the one that I think bails them out or something. She's like,
that's funny.
Something about, hey, how's the slammer going?
That's great. I haven't seen that, but I got to rewatch it. That's funny.
Yes, I don't remember the season, but definitely that's a pretty good episode. That's a pretty good one. And just
they had some pretty good stuff.
Yeah, and just seeing Danny and Joey earrings and lipstick and dresses, it was pretty freaking cool.
Man, the chemistry on that show. I mean, man, they the three main guys really had some good moments there.
Absolutely. So Unfortunately, as we know, Fuller House has been canceled on Netflix. So if they were to bring it back, would you return?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I
No
joke all the
question.
time. Oh, no, no question at all. I always thought that they were gonna have some like Fuller House Christmas special or something. I was like, hey, that'd be pretty cool. But I always joke about Fullest House, like where it's me and then like Elias and Sony, and like we're grown up, and then like we
Yep.
have kids. Yeah, that's 30 years from now. That's what's
Yes.
happening.
And hey, we can still do Fullest House. You know, maybe, you know, you're 18 years old. I mean, you're old enough to have kids. I mean, maybe you can, you know, be a parent. You know, you have the toddlers now.
Sure, sure. Or you know, it's like we're going to college, so it's like a spin-off, and we're like in an apartment. I don't know. You know, hey,
Yeah, there we go. I like that. That's actually pretty clever. I really
we gotta do this. We
do.
gotta
Hey,
make it happen.
I am an indie filmmaker. I write. I'm a screenwriter. I own Gravestone Films, our indie company. And hey, if I can get the rights to do that or whatever, I'll make that, and you get.
Come on board.
I got your publicist. We'll do it. We'll make it happen. So, what was the best part about filming Fuller House, and what was the worst?
Best part of filming Fuller House and the worst. Wow. The best part, in my opinion, was I think every single week was something new. Like every single, like I was never bored. Fridays were my favorite days because we had a live audience. Every day I was having fun. I mean, like the freedom and the things I got to experience, like just the schedule that we had was so great, because I feel like every week it was we were doing a brand new theater show, because we would rehearse, and then we do it in front of live audience, and that's always my favorite. I mean, being able to do stuff live in front of people. So that like theater type flow was probably my favorite thing. The worst thing, man, there really wasn't too much that was like awful. I gotta be honest with you. I think honestly, like I said, the worst thing for me was school, because two things really. It was school and a lack of like a social circle, because you know, you are doing all the boring parts of school, and then like you only see the same people every day, rather than, you know, hey, like let's like, I don't know. I mean, I definitely found ways to like make friends, but like that consistent, you know, here's a bunch of kids that I didn't have that. And honestly, I'm cool that I didn't have that, but if I had to pick something, it would be along those lines.
Absolutely. So how many days, or like how long did it take to film an episode?
So it took 4 days. It was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we had off. Tuesday was, we had rehearsals. So basically we'd get in at like pretty early, I don't know, around 7 a.m. I'd be there for school. And then we would all be on the lot, on the stage, right? And so this is where it was filmed. Like you had all the sets in there, and then there was like a little schedule that showed which scenes we were blocking out. So we had our script, and we were going through all the scenes like it was a play. And then we had lunch or whatnot. And then at the end of the day, the writers would come in, and they would watch the whole thing like it was a play. And then the next day we would do the exact same thing, but this time we would get notes based on what we did last time. So the script maybe changed or whatever. We do it all again. This time, in addition to the writers, there was the producers and the TV people, like Warner Horizon, do it for them, get new notes. Next day, we actually shot anything that we couldn't film in front of a live audience, like background work or stunts or babies or dogs or whatever it was. Then Friday was my favorite day, which basically we had filmed everything, we had rehearsed everything, and now we had like the newest script, and we had the live audience. So we would get in relatively late, like maybe like 10 or 11. We go through some of the stuff that we didn't get a chance to rehearse before, eat at the commissary, because we always had to eat like in the stage, but this time we could go out and eat. And then the live audience would pour in, and then we do the whole thing again, like I said, like it was a show, but like the lights were on and the people were laughing, and it was live feedback. That's and awesome. Man, it was great. So yeah, that was like a week of filming.
That's awesome. So it really is cool, and it really is magical. Like it's hard to believe. Now, anybody on set, like who was like the funniest or the jokester behind the scenes? And I'll even add, I'm gonna add my next question as part of that question. So like two parts, that part, and then are there any funny behind the scenes stories that you would like to tell the viewing and listening audience?
The funniest person, I think the funniest person, I have two. Obviously Dave Coulier.
Why does that not surprise me?
That's he's Joey through and through, on set and off set. I mean, he's making fart jokes, he's doing impressions, he's making noises, he's just being a silly guy. I love that guy. But I also love Adam Hagenboo. He plays Jimmy on the show. Man, is he funny. Man, he is so good as Jimmy, and like just the stuff that he brings to that character. I mean, like we had a lot of laughs. I mean, just like I'll be watching him in the corner of a scene, and the amount that this guy reacts, if you go back and watch Fuller House with any scene that Jimmy is in, he's in the back doing something, just making some face or like reacting somehow. And I love that. That's my favorite whenever I'm in a scene with him.
I find that hilarious that Stephanie, who couldn't stand Kimmy Gibbler in Full House, is married the brother of Kimmy Gibbler that we'd never seen in Full House, but always heard that.
Yeah, that's the irony. I thought that was really good. And then some like funny stuff. Man, there was a lot of funny stuff that happened. I mean, I wish I could play the entire 1 through 5 blooper reel that we have. But those are just like the bloopers. I'd say some more like intimate moments. I remember one time there was a scene where we had silly string, and the live audience was there, and I just ate it on the floor. I tripped on, I slipped on some silly string. There was the amount of times I forgot my lines, the amount of times that like stuff just went wrong. I mean, so like I wouldn't say there's like one thing that, this was the funny thing, but like every day there was something new. Every day there was something to laugh about, for sure.
Awesome. So I have one more question for you, but before I get to that one, I do have a question that I did just think of. When you mess up your lines in front of a live audience, how is that handled? I'm guessing you obviously refilm it, but like, how is that whole experience? What is that like?
Yeah, so it depends on what, like it's so subjective because let me explain. So during the live audience shoot, generally if you mess up a line, you go blah, and then the audience laughs, and then they go, okay, go back a few lines and then try from that point and go on. But if for some reason like they have all these these very specific camera movements, if you messed it up at a point where like a camera moved or something, like you'd have to go back really far, or they just do the whole thing again. So or sometimes if you mess it up like when there was supposed to be like a stunt, or I remember one time like I forgot my line like as I was about to kiss Ashley, the one who plays Lola, and then like they're like, okay, do it all again, and then I had to kiss her again, and then it's just like a whole thing. So it really depends. I mean, it's not a big deal. Everyone forgets their right. lines from time to time. Literally, it's just like sometimes like you'll just be sitting there and be like, I forgot my line, and then right. and then everyone will laugh. So yeah. You should look up like Fuller House bloopers. I feel like they'll have
I'll definitely
a lot
have to do that. That's one thing I should have done. Like even after I watched it, I love the bloopers are the best parts of the whole thing. Now, before I get to the last question, of course, do you was it hard to memorize all of your lines?
No. I feel like people have this idea of like it's hard to memorize your lines and stuff. I mean, for me, that's never really been a challenge. I know for some people it's harder, but we had 4 days with this material, and each day, like for me at least, what really helps is instead of just sitting there and memorizing it, like we have blocking to go along with it. So pairing like the words with what I'm doing, like I didn't have to spend a single second doing any extra memorization. It would just happen, boom, done, and I had it in there. But yeah, by the last day, like it, honestly, memorizing lines, like it really did me no good because it'd probably be changed by the 4th day anyways. Like if I had it completely like buried in my mind, like they just throw in a new scene or they just like change all my dialogue. So I was like, oh, okay. So you just had to get used to that,
Absolutely. So last question I got for you, any projects that you have in the works that you would like to promote to our listening and viewing audience?
Man, I wish I had stuff going on right now. With COVID and all that, it pretty much shut down Hollywood. Things are, happening here and there. But I know that I work at a place called the Magic Castle. Like, I'm a magician in LA. So if anyone's like around there, and you guys can come see me, like as soon as it opens back up, I'll definitely be performing on the weekends. So
awesome.
Come by the Magic Castle. That'd be a good time.
Awesome. And do you? I read this somewhere. I don't know if you still have it or not, but do you have a podcast? And if so, do you want to promote that?
Yeah, so I did have a podcast, but it fell through. We might revive it someday. Who knows? That'd be a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I thank you, Michael, so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. You have a great rest of your day, and please stay safe.
Of course.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, man.
Yep. Bye.